All right. Oh
All
shit.
right.
First show of 2022.
Yes, Happy New Year, everyone. Wishing you guys a prosperous new year. Prosper
Make
in
that
all ways that you
fucking
can.
money. Yes. So on June 6th, it'll be 666.
Oh, because of the 222,
Mm-hmm.
2022. You know, I get it. Interesting.
And then, of course,
Wow.
everybody's looking yeah, but everybody's looking at 2022 for some shit to happen. So we'll see.
Well, hopefully it's good stuff. They say, I don't know.
It's a lot of
Hopefully it's
weddings
good
on
stuff.
2/2. It's a lot of weddings on 2/2/22.
Oh, you know who's getting married? The Brat and
The
that girl
brat, yeah,
from Miracle Drops.
yeah,
It's crazy because I don't, what's her name? Judy B. But
yep.
but I
Big
know
booty
it's the
Judy.
Brat and the girl, the Miracle Drops girl.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's her
they are
stuff.
getting married 2/2/2022. 2022. So what I got on the 12th? I have an appointment on February 22nd. Mhm.
Darius' birthday is on the 28th, so I'm not really looking at that
To
date. I'm
28th.
looking yep, his 21st birthday.
Oh, any plans?
I have plans, but I can't say it on here because it's
Oh,
a surprise, but not a
it's a
surprise because
surprise.
he knows to keep that day clear.
Okay. All right. Well, that's cool. All right. So, are you ready to get into the topics?
Yes. Okay. I hate to
Okay.
start it off with death.
But last year ended with death, and then we came into this year with more deaths.
It
So
ended
some of
with a
the
lot of death. Like
yep.
two people in the building that I work in, two people died within a week of each other. Um,
Wow. Like residents?
yes.
Oh wow.
Yep. And one of the people, the lady, her funeral was on the same day as the person we're about to talk about, Mia Goodwin. Her funeral was on the same day as um, Officer Goodwin's funeral. So I had to get
Mm.
around that funeral to get to her funeral, which was a little bit further down on
You
Statesville.
went?
I went to my resident's funeral, not Mia's funeral.
Oh, okay, okay.
But
Interesting.
some of the residents in the building, they were like, "Oh, she's been in the building before because she came from the university division to work with the division in the area that I work in
Mm.
because a lot of, cops are short staffed." So
Wow.
they were saying that they've seen her in the building before. And I'm like, well, damn, it must have been a while ago because she literally just came back from maternity leave a couple of days before she passed. So
Yeah,
of
she took
course,
off 3 months more than likely because they said she has a flu going. So more than likely, like they take off like 3 months or 12 weeks because you know we get FMLA, um,
yeah,
which is 12 weeks. That's sad because she had that little newborn.
she
That
had
is
the
so
newborn,
sad.
a 1 year old, and a four year old.
Wow.
Well, everybody won't know who we're talking about. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me share my screen. Let me share the Chrome tab. A CMPD officer was struck by an 18 wheeler. It's
I just
so
don't get how that
crazy.
happened.
He was, well, let me see if there's, of course, these are like back articles, but let me see if one goes into details about the actual accident.
And that's the thing, like, cause you know, I drive from like New York to Charlotte, Charlotte to New York, and that's why I hate driving next to I hate driving next to anybody, period, But especially I hate driving next to trucks because way too often you see them swerving on the road like they be overworked, they be sleep deprived, they don't know what the freak they be doing. But you can't tell me that you see these police lights and you still manage to hit somebody.
That's what
Now he because
everybody said. At
she wasn't the
3:30.
only one. Exactly. She wasn't the only one hit. She's just unfortunately the only one who died because
Because I thought
multiple
she was
people were
standing
hit.
outside of her car. But I think she might have been in her car. Here's the guy that hit her. He was driving a big rig. Let me go ahead and play it just to get this out the way.
Yeah, I want to see this because I need to make it
You
make
booked
sense.
a sunny Verbo ski chalet with endless views of snow-covered peaks. A stove.
We begin here with a final goodbye.
Oh, you gotta
Tomorrow,
mute it.
Friends, family, the community, law enforcement, they will all remember the life of fallen
Oh, you gotta mute
CMPD
yourself.
officer Mia Goodwin. She died last week after a tractor trailer struck her patrol car on I-85 South while she was responding to an earlier crash. We're going to have some more information on her funeral service in just a few moments. But first, we have to share this new information into the crash investigation that took Goodwin's life. Authorities allege that the driver of the tractor trailer actually tried to leave the scene before Highway Patrol stopped him. That's according to newly obtained court documents filed against Daniel Morgan, who is now facing multiple felonies. WCNC Charlotte's Brandon Goldner is live for us along I-85 where that crash happened. So, Brandon, what else did we learn in these documents?
Vanessa, Highway Patrol says Daniel Morgan tried to walk away from the scene during the investigation and actually walk up on this exit ramp, but he was stopped before he could leave. Investigators say this deadly chain reaction started a half-mile up I-85 when detectives say Daniel Morgan told them he saw flashing blue lights from CMPD squad cars, which were blocking several lanes from an earlier crash. Officers say Morgan told them he didn't hard brake his truck until he was 200 feet away from the police cars, but investigators say it was too late. Court documents say Morgan's actions led to Officer Mia Goodwin's death and injuries to 3 other officers. After the crash, troopers accused Morgan of taking an unspecified mechanical device from the dash of his truck in an attempt to hinder their investigation. Court documents say Morgan also admitted to placing a fictitious tag on his trailer. We first told you last week how the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration's database shows Morgan's company had an inactive US DOT number because his company failed to provide updated information. These latest court documents we obtained say Morgan's truck wasn't supposed to be on the road in the first place.
Go about halfway down the ramp and stop, and we'll bring this patient over to you. He was the driver of the tractor trailer. It's basically for medical evaluation.
Morgan was taken to the hospital because troopers say he couldn't remember what happened after the crash. At the hospital, officers say he was found not to be impaired. We reached out to Morgan's attorney to ask for his response to these latest allegations that we've learned. His response is as follows, quote, "There is a time for all things. This is a time to mourn, reflect, and pay tribute to Officer Goodwin's life. There are no words that can express the extent of Mr. Morgan's sorrow." Live in University, Brandon Goldner, WCNC Charlotte.
Brandon, thank you for those updates. You know, as we said earlier, hundreds are set to come together to say goodbye to Officer Goodwin tomorrow. A procession for her begins at 9 a.m. That's at the Alexander Funeral Home on Statesville Avenue, and it will end at First Baptist on South Davidson Street in Uptown. Visitation starting at 10 a.m. and the funeral service will follow at noon. As we told you before, Goodwin leaves behind 3 young children and her husband, who is a Charlotte firefighter. If you'd like, you can help by donating flowers, or you could plant a tree in her memory. And be sure that we'll have continuing coverage tomorrow about these tributes that will come in for Officer Goodwin. Those will start on our midday news.
Is that yours? I don't know if that's my service or yours. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I thought it was freezing. Okay,
But
that you see, honestly, I knew it was something funny going on with that whole situation. It's sad that for one, he's a black guy. too, but I'm sure his ass was not paying the fucking attention. I'm
No.
sure.
And then he tried to like derail the investigation. But I was trying to figure out why my resident's family wasn't updating everybody on the funeral service. It was because they couldn't have it at Alexander because she was at Alexander, so they had to go down further on Statesville and have their funeral there. So they were right down the road from each other, and I had to go around her funeral procession because it was close to the Double Oaks area near the shelter, and they came down that street and went uptown.
What?
And
That's like West Trade Street.
yep,
Okay.
yep.
All
And
right.
that was a long procession. That was a huge funeral. They had the procession in the cars, and then they had the people from the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department, the main building uptown, walk down to the church. They had the people in the office walk down also, the officers, and then you saw the people in the office, just walking down paying their respects. And then it rained that day. But apparently,
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's probably why we got all that rain. Like in my family, if you have a funeral and it rains, that means you're going to heaven. Cause we did get a lot of rain. Yeah, you never heard that?
No.
Yeah, my whole life they're like, oh, if it rains on the day of a funeral, that means the person's gone to heaven. Yeah, all I remember is being little and one of my grandmothers passed and it was like sunny, then it started raining out of nowhere. They was like, we knew she was gonna make it into the gates. I was like, oh. But yeah.
Daniel Leon Morgan, he was 40 years old. He had been charged with involuntary manslaughter, misdemeanor death by vehicle, failure to reduce speed, and felony failure to move over stopped emergency vehicles.
The only thing I could say is this. If you've ever been driving, because I literally can tell you, it's been times when I've been driving, because it's been times when I like got off work at 6 o'clock and I left like at 7 p.m., 8 p.m. to start driving to New York, which is a 12-hour drive. So, well, it's like a 10 to 12-hour drive, depending on how many times you stop or whether you're stopping for food or not, whatever. But I can tell you that it be times when you're driving and the next thing you know, like out of nowhere, cars are blocking a lane or some construction. So if you really not paying attention, then again, I know a truck is a lot bigger. You probably won't stop in time. It's been so many times when I had to just like last minute switch over, So I get that. Oh yeah, but when it's lights, automatically when you see police lights, especially if those lights was flashing, you're gonna slow down just be based off of the fact that you don't know if your ass can get a ticket or not. You see those police lights flashing, you slow down. But him, I don't know what to say. I
He
just feel
her truck all up.
I seen the vehicle. I'm like, yeah.
Why do people love LSAT Max so much? Because you can study anywhere, anytime.
Personalized analytics.
It's crazy how they got the pictures of his vehicle, and up to this day, I think I could probably see it now.
Breaking news.
But they didn't let us see the vehicle that my daughter's father passed away.
Donations and more pouring in.
Oh. You muted it?
Come together.
Oh.
You just gotta thank God for people like that.
So my prayers and my thoughts are with the family.
Right now, fundraisers have already raised thousands of dollars in support of the first fallen Charlotte Mecklenburg police officer in 10 years.
Plus, 3 other CMPD officers recovering from that same crash. We're on your side, helping you understand what happened and if anyone could be facing charges. That breaking news of a CMPD officer killed is where we begin tonight on Primetime. Good evening. I'm Dee Dee Gatton.
And I'm Jamie Bull. Thanks for being with us here tonight. We brought you news this morning. The Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department revealed one of their own had died while investigating a crash overnight on Interstate 85. It was revealed by CMPD that Officer Mia Goodwin was the one killed. She was hired by CMPD in 2015. She left behind a young child, several, in fact, a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, and also a 4-month-old. In fact, she had just returned from maternity leave just 5 days ago.
Today, we learned her husband, Breton, is a firefighter with the Charlotte Fire Department.
There's no way to prepare. You can talk about it. You can plan for it. You can have operation plans on what we're going to do if it does happen. But until it does, it's something that you just really can't put your arms around.
CMPD Police Chief Johnny Jennings revealed this morning the news of Officer Goodwin's death. It's taking an emotional toll on everyone in the department. And right now, CMPD has parked a squad car out in front of the University City Division building where Officer Goodwin served.
Members trying to make a difference.
Yeah, Jamie, and one of those people.
My bad. I'm sitting here talking. There was a coffee shop, Water Bean Coffee, the one on North Tryon uptown. Oh, shoot.
Okay.
They started raising funds for the family, and of course, there was a GoFundMe or whatever. I'm not gonna say they're well. I guess they were doing it because she is a cop. But how come there isn't more fundraising for families anytime anybody else dies, other than just the GoFundMe from the family?
Honestly, I'm guessing because people in public service, they naturally get a lot of benefits. For one, they don't even have to money pay student loans. I heard if you're in public service like a police officer, you don't even have to pay back your student loans, which is good. And I'm sure police officers, I'm sure they have life insurance, which is another thing. But life insurance doesn't normally pay out instantly. Normally it takes time to actually get that money. But then she also got those babies,
And I think there's like a pension or something that her husband is going to get from her because she's a cop. And I say that because I was like, well, damn, everybody's donating to her husband and her kids. So they said thousands of dollars at the end, like right before the funeral. It was over $250,000 that was collected for that family. Yes.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money. So her family don't need shit.
It depends because that for one, whatever life insurance money they had, remember her whole income, her husband is going to have to be without it and still have to raise those kids for the next, 18 to 26 years. Because these people nowadays, especially with that Obamacare law where the kids get health insurance through their parents up until the age of 26.
Uh-huh.
So now people be really covering their kids until 26. I wish I had that shit because as soon as I turned 21. Yeah. So say, for example, if she made let's just say $50,000 a year. Remember, she got that baby. That times 21. That means that's $1 million that she could have been making that every year for the next 20 years, until she was ready to retire. Even she was 33, right? Because even at 33, in 21 years, she would have been 54. That's still not even retirement age, So they literally gonna miss out on millions of dollars because of the fact that her life was ended early, So I feel like that money is going to help replace her income and make sure that, her kids will have a college fund and make sure that if she had any debt, she can't even pay her own debt anymore because she's not here. So I get why they're doing it, but it would be nice if everybody did that for everybody, not just because you're a police officer.
Exactly.
Especially those people who die and they don't even have life insurance. There's a lot of people, like my daughter's father, he didn't have life insurance. So
just like when you see people putting up GoFundMes on Facebook or whatever because somebody passed away, and that makes you realize not everybody has life insurance. Because I do security and my benefits come out of my check every 2 weeks or every 1st and the 15th or whatever, I automatically sign up for life insurance and I put my nephew as the beneficiary because even security guards get, into some type of danger,
Yeah.
just just for being there. So I always make sure I have a sizable policy. So when my family gets finished paying for the funeral, if anything does happen, my nephews will have something to live off of or put into savings or pay rent at least. So um,
Yeah.
that should goes to show that a lot of people, if you do not have life insurance, you need to get life insurance. Because
Mhm.
when my mom passed away, I was still paying on my policy and my sister's policy because she had all of ours together. So, um, yeah, not just because she was a cop. I think if there's somebody passing away that and their family needs money, I think it should be broadcasted also that
Yeah.
just the way the community pulled out for her, we should be doing that for each other.
Like in
You don't
general.
in general, you don't need to know somebody to help them.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. It
but
don't matter where you were. Look at those Amazon workers that was in the tornado. Like, come on, Like anything can happen anywhere. So it's good to
yes,
have life insurance in general. And if not, it's good to have communities that will pitch in.
but rest in peace, Mia Goodwin. Oh God, those kids are gonna have to go without their mom. That is so fucked up.
Yep.
And she passed away right before the holidays. They had her funeral right after Christmas. Was it right after Christmas?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's the crazy part. Because, it's like, like, yeah, it's so sad. Like, when I think of, like, I be grateful and appreciative that I still have both of my parents, because that is something that it's like those kids are young. The baby is never, well, the 1-year-old is not going to remember the mom. The 4-year-old might. The newborn is definitely not going to remember their mom.
of course not. No.
So
And then her husband. And here's the thing about the grieving process, because my both of my parents died around the Christmas holiday. Of course, there are
yeah.
going to be people around. Oh my God, like during the funeral. Oh my God, I'm so sorry for your loss. Blah 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 blah. They're all up in your face, but at some point, they have to get back to their lives too.
Yeah.
And once everybody leaves, and the the funeral is over, and the calls stop coming in, and people stop sending money or well wishes or condolences.
Mhm.
I was thinking about the husband in a sense where he's going to be sitting at home by himself without his wife.
Yep.
And then that's when that shit'll set in. So we just gotta keep people.
No, honestly, sometimes it don't. Sometimes it's not even then. Sometimes it could be years later. Like honestly,
Mhm.
my cousin's father passed away in 2020 when she was pregnant with her son. And the way she dealt with it, I just admired the fact that she wasn't like, she was upset, she was confused, but she wasn't like breaking down. Here we are in 2022. Just the other day, she's like, "Oh my gosh, it just hit me. My dad is not here." And plus she was pregnant back then and she didn't want to stress herself out. But sometimes it don't really hit you until like years later. You'll never really know when that's going, like when that real reality is going to kick in. And plus, like dealing with that newborn, I'm sure he'll like probably feel it sooner than later, because having a newborn is hard.
Yes, and because he has those 3 kids under the age of 5, I hope he takes counseling. Just takes the opportunity. Of course, he's going to have it because he's a firefighter. But grief counseling for anybody, everybody needs some type of counseling, especially grief counseling, because whatever emotions that you don't realize that you have, they're going to come out of nowhere. And I don't want him taking any type of anger or sadness or anything out, especially on the kids, but the general public. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you can be pissed off for no reason, but subconsciously you're obviously in the grieving process. So, counseling, therapy, we all need it. So I hope he's taking that into account also, because it's just so fucked up. And then you have to sit. I hope so. I hope somebody, or his inner circle, they came around during the New Year's, because you just buried your wife. And during the New Year's, everybody's all happy and getting drunk and going uptown and having a good ass time. The New Year's not the Christmas and the New Year's is not such a great time for everybody. So when the New Year's rolls around and it's that's happening, I've had more than a few New Year's just sitting back and just being by myself. Because my sister, what she does is she shuts down right before Halloween. She cuts everybody off because the holiday season is coming and she can't deal. So everybody else is just left to fend for themselves. Of course, I have my nephew and everything, but um, I just hope that he had somebody there with him just to make sure he was okay, because it will hit you. It will hit you. So
yeah,
it is so depressing to see the year roll around and your family member isn't there anymore. Like they were literally just here and now they're not. So, and even a year later, it'll hit every holiday season. It'll be fucked up. So,
and plus, I'm telling you, when you have kids, especially kids that young,
yeah, you have to
they
put on a face for Christmas. Christmas is such a wonderful time, your most wonderful time of the year. Not really. He has to put on face for Christmas for the kids. He has to put up a tree. He has to buy presents. Oh, look, Christmas is coming. But your mom died right before Christmas. So,
right. And then it's crazy because when my cousin was literally telling me, she was like how her daughters pretty much what kept her together, because she had the like her daughter's like, oh, where's grandpa, and it's like you can't really get mad because the child is just so young and clueless, you know, and she was like, she didn't even want her daughter seeing her cry and all of this stuff. And I know with the kids, they gonna wear mommy his head off, you know. So that's why I just be like really hoping that he can keep his composure, because that is not something easy to deal with.
no, it sure isn't. It sure the fuck isn't. All right. Death, and more death. Thank you for being a friend. Oh, yeah. Betty White finally kicked the fucking bucket.
Yeah. And it's crazy because, well, one thing I'm gonna say is that she did live a long life, because she was what, 99.
Yes.
So that's a good thing. Like she actually got to live that long. What else I wanted to say? She was somebody who like I really respected, because she had like a good old sense of humor. Also, back in the day, one of her shows got canceled because they wanted her to take this black guy off, this black dancer, and she basically told them no, and eventually they canceled her show. But she was somebody who made sure that black people, got their shine. So she was far from racist, which, especially in her time, it was easier to just follow the flow and be like everybody else. But she was different, you know. So rest in peace
Now,
to
what
her.
kind of jinxed her for me? Oh wait, let me share this tab. My bad. No, I don't want that shit. What kind of jinxed her for me is that People magazine put this shit out. Put this magazine out before she even passed. Talking about some Betty White
Wow.
turns 100. She didn't turn 100 yet. Her birthday still hasn't even come up. I think her birthday is like on the 17th of January or some shit like that. But they put this out because, it's her birthday and it's right before the first of the year. Um, well, I don't want to say that, they jinxed her, but, I think it was put out prematurely because I was walking through the store and I was like, they had her birthday already? And I was like, they couldn't have had her birthday already because if Betty White turned 100 and she was still alive, they would have had that shit televised. That would have been, some big thing. So everybody was looking
Mm-hmm.
forward to that. And there's a rapper named Zach Fox. I don't know if you've seen this video. This guy rapping and some chick dancing in the background to Zach Fox's song called "I Got Depression." So the first part of the song is saying, shout out to Betty White. She ain't dead, but from when she died, because we know what's coming up. Mind you, that was 3 years ago. Oh,
Mm,
that shit is hilarious. I mean, her death isn't funny, but that was hilarious that he put that in there. And now she's dead. So, anyway, I wonder where the fuck he is. I follow him on Instagram. So Betty
mm,
White, like, listen, I have it on Hulu, but I bought the Golden Girls DVDs years ago. Rose has always, I mean, all of them are my favorite, but I think Rose was my favorite anyway because she was likable and she was a little stupid, but she still got her freak on. I can't imagine those old ass women fucking, even though that's what they were clearly doing on that show. But
mm,
anyway, I'm just a huge fan of the Golden Girls. So everybody likes the
mm.
Golden Girls. Come on now, it's the Golden Girls.
Right.
Yeah. Who else? Who else passed away? Sidney Poitier passed away today. Let me get
Mm.
that up. He passed away today. Now, do you know who Sidney Poitier is?
Yeah, basically, he was the first Black African to get like the Best Actor award, I think, in the 60s.
Did you read that today?
No, I had heard of him before,
Oh, okay.
but yeah.
Yes. So, he was given a medal by what kind of medal did he get from Obama? What medal is this? Oh yeah, some Veterans Award from Barack Obama. Damn, he looked old. Poor thing. They call me Mr. Tibbs. He was so popular in the 60s and the 70s. He was in Raisin in the Sun. I loved him in Raisin in the Sun.
Mm,
He was in Raisin in the Sun. And he was in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Spencer Tracy.
mm.
Oh, that is such a good. You know what? I like that movie. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? And just in case nobody has seen it, everybody should go and look it up. Everybody should just go and look it up and watch it just because. Um I like this movie because the dialogue, I understand, they're doing the whole interracial relationship and it was centered around race and he had this, mind you, in the movie he was in like his late 30s and she was like 23, and they
Mm,
set the movie up for him to be a widower and they met while she was in school and he proposed and they were going to get married right away and they already had their lives figured out and shit like that, but just the dialogue throughout the whole movie, it wasn't no crazy scenes or anything happening. Mind you, this was back in, when did this movie come out? This
Probably
movie
the
came out in
50s or 60s.
1967, a year before Dr. King passed away.
Mm,
A year before Martin Luther King passed away. And I think if it had been released afterward, that would have been a huge part of the conversation during the movie, especially since they were getting married. So, from beginning to end, just the people talking about race and um, how everything was originated from black people, and the father, having to deal with his daughter marrying a black man, and they had the black maid, Isabel Sanford from the Jeffersons. She played the maid, and her daughter was in there, and just you don't have movies like that anymore where people talk real talk about what's going on today. So that's why I like this movie. And plus, he played Mr. Tibbs, and um, just a lot of other shit. He was in The Heat of the Night. He was in the heat in the. See, I don't know if you know what In the Heat of the Night is.
No.
No. Okay. So when I say Mr. Tibbs, he plays I'm sorry, Virgil Tibbs, a homicide detective in Philly, and he played in The Heat of the Night. Now, In the Heat of the Night was like a TV show, if anybody remembers. But before that, it was a movie that came out in 1967 also. So, oh my gosh. If y'all get a chance to see it, I don't give a damn if you buy it off of Google Play or you put it on Netflix or just buy it off of Amazon. Watch all this shit, because black actors go to him for inspiration. Like Denzel, I think Denzel got some of his swag also. So rest in peace, Sidney Poitier. He was, ouch, my hand. How old was he? He was what, 94? Let me see.
I think he was in his 90s.
Yep, he was 94. 94. Oh, he was born in Miami, Florida. So he was originally, well, not originally from the Bahamas, but and his daughter,
Oh, that's crazy. He was married to one of his former wives was named Juanita. That's crazy.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Oh yeah. Bahamian to win first black person and first Bahamian to win an Academy Award. Oh yeah, so that was him. That was him. In the heat of the night. He was an author. His daughter had a show on, was it the WB or something? She only had like half a season, but I watched it because that was his daughter. So this was years ago. But yeah, rest in peace, Sidney Poitier. Oh yeah, we forgot one more person, Max Julian. Now this is how old I really am. Nobody knows who Max Julian is. Well, at least I don't think anybody from this generation. He was a black exploitation star. He died on the 1st, January 1st. So he was, how old was he? It doesn't say his age, and I'm not trying to do all that math.
This is
he was born in 1933. How old was he?
Wait, 2022.
Oh, he was 88.
89. Well, he would have been 89. Yeah.
Okay, so here are all the movies he was in. So he was in a lot of blaxploitation films. He was in Def Jam's How to Be a Player. Yeah, with Bill Bellamy, if anybody remembers. He played a lot of pimp roles. He was in Cleopatra Jones, The Black Klansman, the original Black Klansman. So, like, I think the Black Klansman, it came out a couple of years ago where the black guy infiltrated the KKK. So that was a remake. He was the first Black Klansman. He was in the Mac. Woo! He was in the Mac. Return of the Mac. It is with Richard Pryor and everybody. Juanita Moore played his mother. Okay, Juanita, your name keep popping up.
That's crazy.
And this is how old I am. This woman, Juanita Moore, she was in one of my mom's favorite fucking movies, and it's a good movie to watch during Mother's Day, and it's called Imitation of Life. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh my god. Oh my fucking god.
It said Imitation of Life.
Yes, not the one that came out in 1933. Like, it's still a good movie, but the remake in 1954, bitch, it will have you fucking crying. Oh my
I
god,
don't like stuff having me crying unless I'm crying laughing.
girl! But it is such a good movie. It dealt with race and all that shit, girl. I'm telling you right now, you will not be fucking. Ask your mom. I bet your mom knows what Imitation of Life is, and then y'all can watch it together. Because I will tell you,
my mom is not a movie person. She's like me. We're not movie people unless like we are to like. My mom is probably more of a movie person than me, but she's still not like a big movie person.
oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But yeah, I'm telling you, bitch, I'm telling you. So watch anything with Max Julian in it. He was the main character in this movie. He played the pimp. And Juanita Moore played his mom, but at least watch The Mac and Imitation of Life with Juanita Moore. And oh my God, hers and Sarah Jane. You'll see who Sarah Jane is. Just black actors, black fucking actors. I'm telling you. So rest in peace, Max Julian. Juanita Moore been dead for some years. Hell, everybody on here dead. Shit, we all dead. So yeah, rest in peace, Max Julian. Was that it for the celebrity deaths? Who else passed away? I think that was it. I mean, of course, other people passed away, but I don't know who the fuck them people is. So, what's the next? More death. Young Dolph. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
Yeah, we have an update because we did cover his death. I think 1 or 2 times, depending on the update.
Let me go ahead and share my screen again. Share my screen again. See if TMZ has a video. Is there a video? Oh wait, I sent you the video. Let me go back. Is this a preview?
Everybody, welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake rocking with y'all rocking with me. For this video, we're going to be speaking on the Memphis rapper Straight Drop, who is on the run and has a warrant for first-degree murder for the shooting death of young Dolph. January 5th, 2022, the tragic case of Memphis rapper Young Dolph took a major turn when law enforcement announced the suspect. 23-year-old Justin Johnson, a local rapper who goes by the name Straight Drop, is officially wanted for the first-degree murder of young Dolph, and the Memphis Police, U.S. Marshals, and Tennessee Bureau of Investigation are offering a combined reward of up to $15,000 for information leading to his arrest. Straight Drop also has a federal warrant for violating his supervised release on a weapons offense, and his name has been added to the Tennessee's most wanted list. Back in November of 2021, Memphis police responded to a call for a shooting at Makita's Bakery located in South Memphis. Arriving on scene, responding officers observed a camouflage wrapped Corvette in the parking lot. The bakery's windows were shattered, and a man's arm could be seen hanging outside the window as his body laid inside. He was pronounced dead at the scene and identified as 36-year-old Adolph Thornton Jr., who's more commonly known as Memphis rapper Young Dolph. In the days that followed, accusations would carelessly be tossed around, placing blame on everyone from rival rappers to the employees of the bakery. It's well documented Dolph was targeted in 2 separate shooting attacks, starting in February of 2017 when Dolph had released the record Play With Yo Bitch, a diss targeting Memphis rapper Yo Gotti, who was even portrayed by a lookalike actor in the music video. A week later, Dolph was shot at. It was 6:30 at night when over 100 rounds were fired at Dolph in Charlotte, North Carolina. The rapper sat unfazed in a $300,000 bulletproof SUV, and 2 months later, Dolph would drop a song titled 100 Shots, mocking the shooters by saying, "How the fuck you miss a whole 100 shots?" and titling the album Bulletproof. The song would go gold, and Yo Gotti's artist Black Youngster would later be charged in connection to the shooting, with the charges eventually being dropped. 7 months later, Dolph would get into a fight with 3 men on Hollywood Boulevard in California. At one point, Dolph was knocked to the ground, and a man pulled a gun, shooting him multiple times. Dolph would be rushed into emergency surgery, luckily surviving, and none other than Yo Gotti was named as a person of interest in the shooting. Within hours of Dolph's death, it was rumored one of Yo Gotti's restaurants and Black Youngster's grandmother's house was shot up, but those rumors were later dismissed by the Memphis police chief. Within 24 hours of his death, a comedian named Darion Childs would take to Facebook saying, "Man, them folks just killed young Dolph. I love Memphis, cuz we so gangster." Hours later, the 21-year-old was shot and killed at a gas station. The white Mercedes used as the getaway vehicle would be found days later on the side of an abandoned house, and evidence within the vehicle would tie it to a double shooting that took place days before Dolph's death, in which 2 women were shot multiple times, one of which ended up dying. In both murders, police have confirmed assault rifles were used. Within 24 hours of the vehicle being discovered, a man named Desmond Rogers was shot and killed next door to the abandoned home, leaving many to assume he tipped off the police about the vehicle as he lived next door. Around this time, the internet exploded as a now deleted music video emerged of Memphis rapper Straight Drop rapping in front of the same abandoned home. Straight Drop's associate CEO Bobby is believed to be the owner of the Mercedes. It could be seen in multiple pics with the vehicle on his now deleted Instagram. Bobby, whose real name is Joshua Hewlett, is already known to police as a shooter after a 2020 arrest in which he was inside of a car that exchanged gunfire with another car. The vehicle he was in would crash out after attempting to escape police, and 3 suspects, including Bobby, would be arrested. A picture of another associate named Jojo Splat shows him in front of Bobby's Mercedes, and a music video shows Jojo, CEO Bobby, and a man wearing a Bass Pro Shop hat identical to the one worn by one of the murder suspects. CEO Bobby can also be seen wearing a PRE chain, the label owned by Young Dolph, and it's believed Bobby got the chain after a PRE member was robbed, which they bragged about on Instagram Live.
You see that, though? They like them train bought. Like, she got bought over here. Like, she got bought over here. Them hoes legit, family. No cow. That's a 5-finger discount off a rapper nigga. Off a rapper nigga. It's that one. The fat one. It's that one. Oh, yeah. Say bye bye. Them folks did not say dog. I ain't bought shit. All stole.
Bobby would be arrested only 7 days after Dolph's death, after being questioned about a stolen vehicle and police finding weapons and drugs inside of his girlfriend's apartment. Rumors quickly spread he was arrested and being questioned over the death of young Dolph. At this time, it isn't clear what evidence police have against Straight Drop, who remains the only suspect wanted for Dolph's death. But it's guaranteed the $15,000 being offered by law enforcement is nothing compared to the amount of money on Straight Drop's head. Now, if y'all have been following everything that happened after Dolph's death, this case and everything about it was pretty much solved by the internet, by YouTube, by mad people putting everything together, finding this dude, accusing this dude. But what's dangerous about that, right? One guy out of everyone that's been accused is actually wanted by the police. But every time someone is falsely accused, like Makita's and all the employees of the bakery, that's putting their life at risk. It's always easier to be the one criticizing than it is to be the one that's criticized. It's always easier to point the finger than it is to defend yourself. And what happens with this is people throw out all these accusations because they know it's going to get views. They know it's going to get attention. It's going to come to their channel. They're going to get subscribers, whatever. But they're not taking into consideration the fact that these people actually live in the war zone that's known as Memphis, where people are getting shot the fuck down. People that are on the internet, the majority of them, they don't live that life. They're not in that environment. And a lot of these types of channels don't even show their fucking face for two reasons. For one, they'll be held accountable for all the lying that they're doing and people know who they are and they'll possibly get ran down on. And for two, their credibility will be gone when people can see that you don't live that fucking life. You ain't never been in the streets. You ain't never been in prison. You ain't never been involved in nothing. So why the fuck should we listen to you? But to be honest, it doesn't take a gangster or a street affiliated person to put this shit together when all of the evidence is on social media. These rappers, these killers, these gangsters, they put everything on social media. And all people have to do is just put it together. Now, I'm interested in hearing what actual evidence they have against Straight Drop, whether it's DNA or whatever. They're saying that they found evidence inside of the Mercedes that linked the Mercedes to Dolph's shooting and another shooting. I'm assuming it's going to be shell casings because in that same sentence, they were able to confirm assault rifles were used in both shootings. Gunpowder isn't going to tell you that, but if they found 7.62 shell casings inside of the vehicle, like what a Draco shoots, which is obviously the gun Dolph got shot with, that's how they'd be able to piece that together. But we'll just have to see how this plays out. I'm sure in a matter of time he's going to get caught because when's the last time somebody got killed and the killer just disappeared forever, especially a rapper? It just doesn't fucking happen. He's going to get caught, and with that, other people might get tied into the case because when you're facing forever in prison, people start to talk. But hey, it's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, and y'all rocking with me. Until next time.
Interesting. Yo, it's crazy because Tennessee is right next door, and I didn't know they got down like that. Like,
Hell yeah. Not, you know what? I don't think it's just Tennessee. It's just Memphis. You don't hear none of this bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
You don't hear none of this bullshit happening in Nashville, but Nashville is the country capital of the world. So all the white country artists and all the few black ones too, they're in Nashville. This bullshit is happening in Memphis. So I had no idea that he said the word Draco. I had no idea that the Draco is a gun. That's how, ignorant I am on street shit. Because you know how niggas be naming themselves Draco, like in the hood or whatever. I've met like 2 Dracos in the past like 10 years. So you don't know nobody named Draco?
I know, I've heard of Draco, but I didn't know it was a gun.
Me neither. I thought it was just a popular like nickname, like Spider or some shit like that. But I did not know that these niggas are naming themselves after fucking guns.
Sure, that's interesting. I learned something new today.
So he is currently on the run. If he was smart, he would not be in the state of Tennessee. Girl, what if he in North Carolina? Woo! Ooh, that's a dangerous nigga to be around.
Yeah, but they say he may be.
What?
Yeah, the suspect, right? One of the videos you sent me, they said that they think because they said they was looking for him for a while, and they was thinking maybe he would be in Atlanta hiding out.
Shit, he might be. I mean, like hell, who's to say? Somebody helping him if he's hiding out like that. Girl, they're gonna be looking for his ass like that, like they was looking for Brian Laundrie. Who was dumb enough to park that same car that was seen on camera beside that house? Who the fuck owns that house?
Well, listen,
But
nowadays, especially with all these little ring cameras, and is it called ring? Am I even saying the right term?
I don't think anybody in that neighborhood can afford a Ring camera.
But the thing about it is that they don't, Blink, because Amazon has one called Blink, and you just pay a one-time fee, and that's it. They got like a little inside $35 camera. They do have some outdoor cameras too, but I like Blink because you don't have to pay no monthly fee. You just pay for the device.
Oh, for real? I'm gonna have to get that thing.
Yep, look up Blink.
I was looking for one for my front and back door because my storage unit door has been found open. So I want to make sure what the fuck is going on. But yeah. So they parked that fucking car, that same car that was used in the shooting next to that house. And who's dumb enough to do that? And then the music video was filmed out in front of that house with that car. Just like so they wanted to get caught. That's what it seemed like.
Girl, the thing about it is that in one of the videos that you sent me, there's like people do stuff like that and then they be bragging about it.
Yes. What? Like, who the fuck is that comedian? Mind you, he was only 21 years old.
You want to who was what?
He was 21 years old. So you want to joke about somebody's death? I had no idea that turnaround.
Oh yeah, I heard that they killed him.
A couple of hours.
Yeah, I heard. I literally heard that they ain't waste no time.
A couple of hours later, like damn.
But my thing is that y'all sat there and killed somebody that quick that made a joke. Why y'all didn't just find the murderers and kill them? Like, come on.
Why the fuck is George Zimmerman still alive? And y'all that fucking if y'all that fucking gangster, why is George Zimmerman still alive? Any of these niggas, like, what the fuck?
Ooh. Listen.
Ooh, what you eating?
I'm chewing ice.
Oh,
my bad.
You good. You eating so bad. But yeah. So speaking of more death, but something a little bit positive, if depending on how you look at it. Ahmaud Arbery's killers were sentenced today. So let me go ahead and pull that up.
Oh yeah. This finally, because I'm sure like if this ain't go right.
I didn't know they were going to do it that quick. So and he was so young. He was 25 years old when he passed. The judge sentenced Travis McMichael, the man who actually shot Arbery, and his father, Gregory McMichael, who watched the shooting from the back of a pickup truck, to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Their neighbor, William Bryan, who recorded the video of Arbery's last moments, was sentenced to life with parole for his role in the death. Bryan, 52, will not be eligible for parole under Georgia law until he has served 30 years in prison. Well, shit, he gonna die. He gonna die in prison. Either way, they're all in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Good. In addition to the life sentences of murder, Walmsley, goddamn, imposed additional sentences for other felony charges. Travis, who was 35, he imposed additional imprisonment sentences of 20 years for McMichael's aggravated assault conviction and 5 years for a criminal attempt to commit a felony. Wait, hold on. Oh, I'm reading the wrong line. The judge said the additional sentences will be served concurrent to each other, but consecutive to the life sentence, totaling the life sentence without the possibility of parole, plus 20 additional years in prison. So he's going to die in prison.
Yep, all three of them.
His dad, he got an additional 10 years. William Roddy, what the fuck? William Roddy Bryan Jr. He need to be shot just for having that fucking name. Um, he served an additional. He was given an additional 10 years and 5 years for the criminal attempt to commit a felony conviction. The judge ruled that the additional sentence, totaling 15 years, will be suspended, resulting in a total sentence of life in prison with the possibility of parole. So when will he paroled? Because if it's after 15 years, how long will it take for him to be paroled? The jury consisted of 9 white women, 2 white men, and 1 black man. Now, is that a jury of his peers, of their peers?
I don't know, but I'm glad they have women and black people.
Yeah, but shit, I think they could have had a little bit more than that. But then again, it's Georgia, so shit. He was probably a light skinned black dude. Let me stop. Stop. Less threatening. But anyway, the Fitz team for all 3 men has said that they plan to appeal their clients' convictions. You can appeal all you fucking want to. Wow. Wow. That's his sister, Jasmine Arbery. Um, that's just fucked up. That's just fucked up. Uh, 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 uh. So, anything else about the story? Anything to add?
Nope. I'm just glad they got justice.
Yeah. Oh, I did see on the sentencing, the attorney for the family or the prosecution or whatever, they put in a motion for the 3 white guys to not make any money off of this case. No book deal, no TV interviews, no over the phone interviews, no nothing. And their attorney was like, "Well, how are they going to raise money for their defense?" That's what a court appointed attorney is for. So if you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you. So the judge was like, he needs to hear the terms of the motion in order to put it through, because it sounded like he was still gonna, let them do whatever they need to do to, like raise money for their defense. But I agree with the prosecution. I don't want to see no salacious ass interviews from the family members, from anybody on that side, from any of those people to make money from the death of this young man. So I like how they put that in there. Like nobody really thought of that. I think after George Zimmerman doing all that goofy shit after he got off, for killing Trayvon Martin, then I think that's where they got that from. So shout out to their lawyers for keeping that in check. Okay, so let's get into, I told you about this, right? The HBCUs for bomb threats happening and shit.
Oh yeah, you told me about it, but I didn't hear about it prior to that, but you said you was gonna share some stuff.
Oh yeah, let me go ahead and get this video up. Of course, there's an ad. What the fuck? Nobody want to hear this shit. Hurry up. I'm surprised that nobody, but you know what? This is coming out the same day as the verdict. I think the verdict might be overshadowing this, but this is still important. This is still important. Okay, the ad. Okay, go ahead and share this. It's hot as hell in here. One of them niggas touched my damn thermostat. It's hot as fuck. Girl, it was so hot in here a couple of days ago. One of my candles started sweating.
What?
The bitch was starting to melt. I was like, oh,
That's
hell no.
crazy.
Turn my fucking air on. That's how hot, because heat rises. That's how hot it gets upstairs.
Wow.
Whew. That's not it. What the hell? No, that's not it. I'm gonna need a little bit more than that. No, I don't want that. Really?
I just went on Instagram. You playing something because there's no sound. But I literally
Um,
just seen this post about this lady. It says 2 women arrested after allegedly hiding cash in a Rolex watch they stole in their vaginas.
ew. And you sent me that shit.
Yeah, it's just the neighborhood talk on Instagram. That shit was hilarious. But you just see the mugshots though. Like it's their mugshots for me. Ooh, my phone is super, super hot. Damn.
Oh, I know they stink. Oh, I know they stink.
My kids got iPads. I need to buy my ass an iPad. Cause this phone, I like being on my phone and doing stuff, but my phone is so hot right now.
Okay, I'm about to play it. Let me go ahead and mute myself.
Okay.
HBCUs across the country received bomb threats. The schools included Howard University, North Carolina Central, Xavier, Spelman, Texas Southern University, Norfolk State, the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, Florida Memorial, and Prairie View A&M. The threats led to evacuation and investigations by law enforcement officials. Presently, no credible threats were found, and students and faculty are safe. Florida Memorial tweeted in part yesterday, after a thorough search, no suspicious packages were found and no one was harmed. The campus returned to normal. Today, officials have not released any leads on the bomb threats, and we're certainly keeping our eyes on the story and will give you any updates. That should be a serious concern, Robert, because clearly to have 9 HBCUs, that means someone is specifically targeting historically Black colleges and universities.
Exactly, and I think that was my first thought, many people's first thoughts, that if you look at the amount of notoriety that HBCUs have gotten in the popular culture and the mass media the last couple of years, with that additional attention comes additional bad actors. You know, you have Dion bringing spotlight to Jackson State. You have Howard University, of course, being preeminent in public attention. You have Clark Atlanta and the Atlanta University Center. Many of these white supremacist groups and bad actors had no idea they existed because it was outside of their purview. But now that they're in the spotlight, now that they see the threat that they pose to systemic racism and the traditional white white power structure is going to bring these sorts of threats. And thank God they were fake this time. But we do have to work out and look at increasing security of these institutions to make sure that our next generation of Black leaders are safe and secure on campus.
The thing we also must look at here, Scott, and I'm not connecting these two. We talk about January 6th, but what doesn't get talked about a lot were the pipe bombs that were found outside the Democratic National Committee, and they still have not found the person who actually placed those there.
Yeah, that's a good point. What we need to watch now, and I agree with Robert, what we need to watch now is whether there'll be any additional bomb threats against any of the other HBCUs. Is there a pattern in practice? How were these threats received by the school, whether it was in writing or communications or verbal communications, and kind of what the police are sifting through to try to trace those calls, whether it's a burner phone or not. They've got to use some type of phone system, and those records can be reviewed. It's disturbing, but I think there's a relationship between these bomb threats and not only the high-profile nature of these institutions, but the fact that they're receiving millions of dollars from major white donors as a result of George Floyd, and with that will come this negative behavior by that far-right extremist domestic terrorism. But I think they ought to be on call or be on notice and take security measures beyond the fact that this was a fake call. They got to be on notice and be on security alert for some time now. That's the new reality.
Obviously, Monique, this causes serious disruptions. You got students returning back to campus and returning to classes. And so hopefully this won't continue, but it should be of concern that it hit 9 HBCUs on one day.
Yes, but what I would hope would happen, because this would not just be domestic terror or a type of terror attack, if any of them were actually followed through, it would also be a hate crime. And so there are a number of federal agencies that, one, should be involved in surveillance, and perhaps already were. I don't know what intelligence the FBI or the CIA were receiving about this before it happened, but also can be involved in the protection of these universities. So where these trigger points have happened and where we now know about it, that should be enough for there to be enhanced protection and surveillance systems across the board.
My unfiltered video in just one moment.
My big screen.
Support this man, Black Media.
Love y'all. I can't.
So basically, with how they have all this technology and stuff, they're not able to figure out where the threats originated.
Exactly. Y'all can trace the phone calls. Y'all can catch any nigga y'all want from a damn text message or whatever the fuck. But y'all can't figure out who made these 9 phone calls into these schools. Now, I go to an HBCU here in Charlotte, Johnson C. Smith University. Shout out to Golden Bulls. They sent out an email. If I can, my shit can finish downloading. I probably should have sent this while we were looking at the video. But yeah, just to make sure there wasn't a threat on campus. Mind you, it happened a couple of days ago when the students here on our campus were in the process. They just started moving in. They started the moving in process. Class doesn't start until Monday. So a lot of people are just getting back to school, and their classes probably won't start until Monday. So I don't know if this was some type of distraction. I hope, you know what this reminded me of? this shit reminded me of I don't know if you remember, but there were a lot of shit. See if I can upload this. There were a lot of churches, black churches. This was years
Oh,
ago.
back in the days, these old man.
Not back in the day. Like this was like the early 2000s, but I think
Okay.
one church was here in Charlotte. It was a couple of churches here in Charlotte. Black churches that had like a lot of history. Um a lot of historically black churches were burnt down. This is what that reminded me of, but this is just on a whole nother level. Either they were burnt down or a fire was started in them. Obviously it was arson. This is what that reminded me of, because if they can't, they're obviously not going to do enough to hurt us with our churches. They're going to go to our schools also. And actually, I don't know if you've seen this in the media lately, but there's been a lot of talk of the importance of HBCUs. A couple of actors, I think it was Michael B. Jordan. He did an interview talking about the importance of HBCUs in sports, and just supporting these colleges, because HBCUs have a hard time getting money from their alumni, but they don't have the same problems as a PWI. And a PWI is a predominantly white institute. A predominantly white institute like Yale, Harvard, Brown, not our Brown, but other Brown. It's just Brown. UCLA, whatever the fuck. Any other school that's not an HBCU, they have absolutely no problem getting money or funding, any type of funding, not just from their alumni, any type of funding, especially government funding. And a lot of people are missing the fact that I was about to call him Joe Biden, that so let's say Joe Biden, he when he entered
Yo, what
into
you want to say to Joe Biden right now?
when he entered the White House, he cut funding for HBCUs. He cut federal funding for HBCUs. So now that
What?
yes, now that our funding is cut, we have to rely on who to keep our schools alive. And that's why the talk and the discussion online is that HBCUs are important for now. Here's my thing. I don't mind, well, because I don't want to say this and then it backfires on me, especially since I'm still going to school. I understand that other races might want to experience an HBCU, but because they are the minority on campus, that opens them up to getting minority scholarships. So if a white person,
Listen, the
look,
same way how they want to experience HBCUs, we wanted to freaking experience those white only water fucking faucets and all of that back in the days.
yeah,
And those white only
but here's the
schools.
thing: we just wanted to get an education. It
Exactly.
was harder for us. It's still hard for us to get an education, in a higher education, but it's not. It certainly isn't a problem for them. So, if the road to higher education is much easier for you, just getting there, getting it, and graduating, how come you just can't do that at an institution that is benefited by you mostly, a PWI? Why do you have to come to an HBCU where black people, it's a safe haven? It's a safe haven. And yeah, I understand a lot of HBCUs are started by white people, and they have their names and shit like that, but it's still a place that we've made for us, especially in these recent years. And when I say these recent years, I'm gonna say since like 1970 on up. Like, if you remember the show A Different World, when that show came out, the enrollment at HBCUs went up because Hillman represented all HBCUs. They had the sororities and the fraternities and the campus life, and the different people. And of course they had that one white girl in season 1 who thought that she could just come up on campus and go to our school. But like, it's for us, it's for the culture, it's for us. And I never understood why somebody of a different race, white, Hispanic, or whatever, wanted to be, just a part of that. I see, I see it glorified, but when you really get into it, when you're really on campus and you're living that campus life, you see how important it is for us to have our own space. And you see why it needs to be preserved. So with seeing why it needs to be preserved, I really need to see a lot more action being taken in this investigation, because obviously they were targeted, and they were fake uh, bomb threats now, but who's to say it's not going to be fake in the future? And who's going to provide the money? Who's going to provide the money to remodel a building or a school after it's been bombed? So my school, they sent out this email, Johnson C. Smith, they sent out this email. Administration is aware of bomb threats against historically Black colleges and universities across the country. JCSU has not received a bomb threat. At least 9 HBCUs, including University of Arkansas, blah, 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 blah. Florida, Memorial, Howard, Norfolk, NCCU. NCCU is on the other side of North Carolina. It's on the other side of the state, North Carolina Central. Prairie View, Spelman's down in Atlanta, Texas Southern, what's her name? Meg the Stallion just graduated from Texas Southern, and Xavier University received bomb threats Tuesday. Actually, no explosives have went off. That's what it says.
My thing is, why are they waiting for explosive? They had exactly every way to figure out exactly where those threats initiated to be able to go in and arrest those people and get that. And like, I don't know why they're making it seem like they don't know how to figure that shit out. Like, listen, let me tell you, my phone the other day showed me a memory album, or not a memory album, a memory video that they put together of all the pictures of food that I took over the last few years. I'm like, it's crazy because how do they know what the fuck food is? How do they know to take all these pictures of food that I took over the years and make an album called Tasty Bites? And then they had the nerve to put a Lauryn Hill song to it. How the fuck do they know I like Lauryn Hill? I didn't even fucking have a Lauryn Hill on my music app. But I just like the fact that they put it all together. I'm like, nah, these motherfuckers know every goddamn thing at this point. They know exactly who's sending those threats. Exactly who. I don't give a fuck. They know exactly who. So nothing is supposed to come of those threats, because you know why? They're supposed to be done, found who sent them, and shut it down. It don't take that long.
No, and that photo album shit, that shit reminds me of you know how you think of something, you think, oh, I think I want to buy this, but you don't search for it on Google. But when you're on the internet on your phone or whatever, you see an ad.
It comes up, the ad, exactly.
Yeah.
They know every fucking thing.
It's like your fucking phone, because it's connected to your hand, it's connected to your mind also.
No, their shit be listening to everything that we saying in the damn background.
Yeah, but you don't even have to say it. You could just think it and it pops up. Like you could be scrolling up on Google on an article and then you see an ad like, weren't you thinking about buying this? You have this in your I've seen that shit. You have this in your cart on Amazon. Okay, so why is it an ad on this fucking random ass website? So if they can do all that, they can what the fuck? They can find out who the hell is making these threats to these HBCUs. Because what they don't want to happen is that if something does happen, they don't want to be blamed because they could have done something a long time ago. I.e. the government or law enforcement or whoever is, doing this shit. The government, the establishment, whoever the powers that be, whatever the fuck you want to call them, them niggas in power. So yeah. Ooh.
But yeah, let's talk really quickly about these COVID cases going up all of a sudden.
Girl, why was I in the hospital last week thinking
what?
Bitch.
Was it COVID again?
No, it wasn't COVID, but it was like the flu or whatever. And girl, it felt like I had COVID. So
it was the flu, you said?
Yeah, it was the flu. It was like a head cold that my nephew gave me.
Wow.
Yeah, but while I was in the fucking hospital, why was that bitch full as a bitch?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I tried to go to urgent care. But they kept turning me around. And my thing is, if it's urgent care, then why do we need an appointment? It's urgent care. It's the hospital away from a hospital. So why are people getting turned around? Yeah. I was a little bit perturbed about that because I went to maybe like 3 before I went to the hospital.
Wow. So what would they say when you got there?
Well, they had me waiting for maybe like 2 hours before they called me in the back. Yeah. So they took my vitals and they swabbed my brain through my nostril. There was like it sounds like you have the minor symptoms of COVID. If you do have COVID, then it'll get worse before it gets better. They, girl, they didn't even send me my fucking test results because like I'm fine now. So that's why I'm thinking it wasn't COVID, because if it was, they would have, put out an alarm on my ass. You have COVID, you have COVID, you have COVID. So yeah. It was a lot of babies in there.
What?
It was a lot of children in there having chest pains, and that's why I'm thinking, that's how you know this fucking variant is government released or released from the government.
Yo, it has to be, because I don't understand. When there was no vaccine, there was just one form of COVID, and and they were saying how quickly it was spreading, but that shit wasn't even spreading nowhere near as quickly as fucking Alpha, as quickly as fucking Delta, as quickly as fucking Omicron, and now there's a new variant, and then people out there with flurona, which is the coronavirus and the flu at the same.
Bullshit. What the fuck?
Yes, where they're testing positive for both COVID and the flu. I'm like, it makes no sense to me how there's a vaccine, there's booster shots, and all of these people who already are fully vaccinated are getting this fucking COVID shit. Like, I'm so confused and I'm annoyed at this point, because I'm like, just when you think everything is getting better, boom, it's another fucking variant, and it's stronger and bigger and badder than ever before. Like, what?
And it's a lot of people who are fully vaccinated who are dying also.
Listen,
like they're putting up articles like, well, why did this person pass away and they fully vaccinated? Because it doesn't fucking matter if you're vaccinated or not. Shit.
And then the sad part, the other thing that they're doing is they're telling people, if you test positive but you don't have symptoms, you don't have to freaking quarantine. When, mind you, you could test positive, but yet you can still transmit the virus to somebody else, even without symptoms. And suppose you pass it to somebody who ends up actually having symptoms, and now they fucking on their deathbed because you was positive and you were told because you was fully vaccinated you didn't have to quarantine.
Uh-huh.
Like, all of this shit is so messed up. I'm just over it at this point. Like, I'm over it. And it's like they cut the quarantine time down. Like, people going back to work still positive for COVID because they only got 5 days off now instead of the 10 or 14 days that they used to get before. Like, what?
Exactly.
They need to send us another stimulus check at this point, please and thank you, because I can't.
Oh, that'd be lovely. That would be
It
lovely.
would be, because at this point it's ridiculous, and they about to do virtual for the kids' schools again too. I heard.
Johnson C. Smith, they just put out a notice today in our student canvas where we get our assignments that will be virtual the first 2 weeks of school. So I don't have my on-campus class Monday, this coming Monday. I have to wait this Monday and then next Monday, and then the Monday after that, that's when I go on campus. And that's the only class I have on campus is that one. Everything else is online, but everything will be online the first couple of weeks. So they cancel that shit. Everybody's just going to be online. The students can still move into their buildings to student housing, but everything is going to be done online for the first couple of weeks just to see what happens. Because they go to class, when the students who live on campus go to class, they have to turn in a negative COVID test. If they don't, if they do test positive, they can't go to class. They have to turn in a negative COVID
Even
test.
if they're fully vaccinated.
Even if they're fully vaccinated, it doesn't fucking matter.
Wow.
And now,
I mean, that's good though, because some people don't make you do testing if you're fully vaccinated. But I'm like, you done went and you done got the fucking boost, you done got the first jab, you done got the second jab, you done got the booster shot, and you still gotta walk around with fucking mask and fucking take extra COVID tests. Like, what was the purpose? What was the point?
Exactly.
So, and mind you, we were better off before this damn vaccine.
Yeah, you think so?
I know so. Like, even like with the other strains of COVID, okay, they put out a report that there was more deaths in 2021 with the vaccine than the amount of deaths from COVID in 2020. How so?
Exactly.
How so?
Exactly.
And that's the report that they put out there based off of the statistics, which means that it's a situation where we got to really ask ourselves, is this vaccine really beneficial for us? They swear up and down if you get it, you're least likely to, have the crazy complications. My daughter's father has relatives that were fully vaccinated, right? Mind you, I was exposed to somebody who had COVID in October. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. The thing is that, well, I ended up finding out that they had the COVID, but the thing about it was that I gave them a hug when I was leaving and everything, right? So I didn't get sick. My kids didn't get sick. We didn't get sick, Why the people that's fully vaccinated got sick, was in the hospital, everything. Explain that to me. Explain that to me. I'm confused at this point. And it's crazy because a lot of people in their articles now, they're trying to say, oh, people who's fully vaccinated that's still catching it and having severe symptoms, oh, they had at least one underlying condition. Well, these motherfuckers they was already at risk before the vaccine. Wasn't the vaccine supposed to help them?
Y'all still got CMOS?
Oh yeah, we still make CMOS.
Okay, I'm gonna have to pick some from you tomorrow. How much is a jar?
The day 25. I gotta see what's left because I had sales. I had sales between yesterday and today.
Okay.
But if anything, I'll get some made because I have some CMOS soaking. But the flavor jars are 25.
What's a non-flavor? Because I be putting it in my food and my iced tea and
Oh,
shit.
you want a regular? So I'll just make a plain. The plain is 20, so I'll make a plain.
Okay, I'll just cash up you the money. But yeah, I think that's a lot of reason why I got better, because I still had CMOS and vitamins and just all my natural shit on hand.
Well,
My
that's
ginger,
good.
my ginger honey tea and shit. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
girl, did you see that infused water that I made?
No,
It's on
I don't think.
Instagram. It's on Instagram. That helped a lot.
Oh, I did see. I think I saw something like that. Would look like it has cinnamon sticks and oranges and
Yes, oranges, lemon, cinnamon sticks, cloves, all that good shit. Yes, yes. We were sniffing that water, not water, the steam and all that shit.
yeah.
And I cooled it down, and I put a packet of that honey ginger tea in it, and I made a drink out of it. Oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. Put some honey in it, bitch.
Mm,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a lot of reason why, it wasn't like as bad as girl the first time I had COVID, because that shit was, I thought I was gonna die. But yeah, it's a surge. A lot of people, I don't know who the hell was out during New Year. Well, my nephews were out during New Year.
Listen,
A lot of people
let
should
me tell
stay
you.
home.
There's a whole bunch of memes in Jamaica. They like everybody after the new year. So it's not just in the US where it's spreading like this. I know people in Jamaica, their COVID rates or everybody's just sick. Also the Virgin Islands, their numbers are going up and everybody's sick. So it's just everywhere. Like that's the crazy part. It's not even like it's just the US. Every time we have a spike, they having spikes in other countries too.
Mm.
So it's not even like a Charlotte thing or just a US thing. It's everywhere and everybody. Like how? But then again, when you think about it, so many people travel. So it's like, like for example, I came back on a plane full of people, like from Jamaica to the US. And then we had a layover in Atlanta. Some of us was coming to Charlotte. Some of us was going other places. So all of that, but the thing about it is that we had to take a COVID test to even get on the plane. And the thing about it was that I had took my COVID test 2 days before. When I got to the airport, they're like, no, you can't use this. The US now requires you to have taken the test within, one day. So if I would have took it, I had to basically take another COVID test before I got on the plane at the airport. So at least we have to actually test. But when you're flying in the US, they're not checking your COVID test results. If you're going from like Charlotte to New York or Charlotte, they're not checking that. But if you're coming from overseas, those are the only people that they didn't bring nothing back because they had a negative test result. But those people that's in the US and they're just traveling all over the place, and then so that's mainly how it starts in the US. But then there's people that's getting on the planes and they know they got COVID anyway, and I don't even know how they're getting on the plane with COVID. Like,
Um, my COVID shit, it wasn't visible. I felt terrible on the inside, but that was because I had like just diarrhea, horrible. But I was coming down with it before I came back from
oh
Mexico.
yeah, because you did take a test and you were negative.
They had said that I was negative, but I think they just said that I was negative so they wouldn't have to um, accommodate me in the hotel while I was
Mm.
sick.
Did they give you a copy of your results though? They had to, right?
Yes. But
Okay.
here's the thing, coming back on the airport, I don't think anybody looked at my results.
Mm.
I just had no, they did. I had the paper saying that I was negative. I had the paper, but I think
Yeah, normally when you check in for your flight, you have to show them everything.
yeah, but I think the people at the hotel, they just bypassed me because they didn't want to deal with a COVID patient or anything like that. Because as soon as I got back, I was sick. I was sicker than I was in Mexico. Like it was coming down.
Mm.
Like damn. So
Yeah,
um,
but right now it's horrible because, like I said, you got people that's out there really getting COVID, and you got people that's out there that's getting a regular ass cold, and you got people that's out there getting the flu. So all of this shit is just not good because everybody is sick, whether it be COVID, whether it just be the flu, whatever.
mm,
Like
yeah,
it's just too much going on.
yeah, absolutely.
But
Girl.
I've been like before COVID. I literally remember like one of my friends was sick, and then I went over there. I was like, this is before COVID, so of course I ain't have on no mask or nothing. I went over there with some emergency, And then, I was helping my friend out, whatever the case was. And like they had the flu. I didn't catch the flu. Because the thing is that I never had the flu a day in my life, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't understand how COVID's supposed to be. Like, I've literally, like, when people be like, oh, I'm sick, back then, I would never not be around you because you were sick, because I could be around you and you be sick and I not get sick. So I don't understand how COVID is supposed to be, like, how it's spreading, like how it's spreading.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I
y'all be
hope I
safe
didn't
out
have
there,
I hope
because
I
I
didn't have
can't.
I hope I didn't have that Omarion shit.
The
I wonder what that
thing
next
about it,
one is called. What?
the other one, they said it's called I something something something. I don't even know.
Iota?
But no, it's IH. It was some weird shit that they just came up with. I'm just over it. They went from alpha to delta to, I didn't even know there was an alpha. Like alpha must have came and gone so quick. I was reading an article and that's where they talked about the different strains or strands or variants, and they said alpha, delta, and omicron, whatever it's called. And then now this new one, because they had a new one I think that they first saw in France. And they're like, this one is even stronger than Omicron. I'm like, yo, this can't be real. This gotta be some fucking bullshit. But anyways.
Any other topics? Anything else?
No, I just want everybody to freaking keep acting like COVID just came out and then get the world back under control, because I'm tired of this shit. I don't even go nowhere and I don't really have no interest in going anywhere. But I do have to go to New York this month. So I need y'all motherfuckers to get it together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my mom's doing her birthday party in New York on the 15th.
Of
So,
January?
uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I'm just hoping the numbers start to drop, especially in New York, because I heard it was horrible out there. And
Y'all
but
be
yeah,
careful.
I know we will.
But
I've been in New York a few times since COVID, but like I said, these variants are supposed to be worse than the original, which makes no fucking sense because things were supposed to be getting better. But yeah, it is what it is.
y'all be safe out there. Um just gosh. Do what you gotta do. Stay your ass in the house. If you work from home, still stay your ass in the house. Don't go anywhere unless you really, really have to. Damn, now I sound like the fucking COVID guidelines. Um, uh, I guess that's it. We will see y'all next week. Thanks for watching, whoever's here on our YouTube. Girl, I had no idea we had 19 subscribers. We going up.
We
Oh,
are slowly but surely. Okay.
From 19 to 19,000. Hey. But y'all have a great week. We will see y'all next week. And stay black, be blessed, and out of respect for Officer Goodwin, I'm not gonna say the other part. Rest in peace, Officer Goodwin. Everybody else we've lost in the new year. And y'all have a safe week. We'll see y'all.
Alrighty, bye guys.
Bye.